All right, let's start this off. So this is obviously episode 2 of our podcast, and so today we're kind of just going to be going over just the small things today. So like we'll talk about the most recent trades, how our thoughts about the trades are, and we'll go from there. But I'm here with Bucks, Eagles, and our guest Seahawks. So we can start off for the most recent trade. So if you go into the trade category, I think trade channel, trade submission, we'll do it. We'll go to the allowed. So, yep, there it is. So we'll just start from the bottom. Troy Apke for 2021 first round pick.
I'll give my thoughts on that. I think that's a pretty interesting trade. Like, so in a normal franchise, right? I feel like it's a decent. I feel like it's a good trade. You know, if Troy Apke was a user,
Right.
But the fact that he's just a safety out there, I don't really know how I feel about that for a first.
Yeah. So I think a first round pick is much. I would probably limit my giving it a second, but Apke being a safety, I use their safeties. Like I get sub linebackers probably the best place to use her, but I'll use her safeties from time to time playing man. So it's a decent trade. Let's just see how Washington plays, because if that's a top 15 pick, like 30 to 32, I think that's doable.
Right.
Chargers are getting him, so it depends on how the Chargers. So like the Chargers don't make the playoffs. That's a really good pick for Washington. I like it for Washington. I think it's a great trade for them.
I do too.
Because even if it's a 30 pick, it's still a top pick. You can get somebody with that type of speed in the draft.
Especially in a custom draft.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because
no
we got...
in that draft.
Yeah, so we downloaded our draft class, and I think it's a pretty interesting one. I mean, it's obviously got most of the real-life guys, but I didn't just download, like, the normal one. I wanted to, like, switch it up a little bit. So we got... I mean, I did a little bit of scouting, but this is what it looks like on my screen. You'll see it for the podcast, but, like, a lot of good corners, I think. It's a good cornerback class. Jones, Stingley, Pickett.
Right.
Yeah.
The last thing I need.
Yeah.
Troy Apke on the Chargers, if he plays him as like an out, like stop the out route and the deep route, it would be really good. But it's really about if he plays against a tall receiver, he's going to get mossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used him many times in other leagues. He just gets mossed way too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now we'll go next one, which was pretty controversial for the most part. We had to go through it a few times. Eagles sending Fletcher Cox, who obviously we all know who that is. Eric Wilson, linebacker. Jalen Reagor, a mid-tier wide receiver for Jags, sending Chris Claybrooks, who one of the fastest corners. Miles Jack, who's a superstar linebacker in a second. So I don't know what your guys' takes on this. I would say the Jags are sending too much, but I know how good Fletcher Cox is, so I want to hear like everybody else's thoughts.
Well, as being the person in the trade, I like it because the biggest thing is Miles Jack has lurker.
Yes, he does. Wait, does he?
Look at him.
I'm looking at it right now.
He has pick artist and lurker.
Yeah.
That was huge. And Chris Claybrooks, absolute goon. I had him in the Steelers. He develops so well.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great development piece, and so I've just got Maddox and Claybrooks out there, 93 speed. So it helps. It definitely helps having some fast corners out there.
And especially when you had Darius Slay to start the year. So Slay's a little older. He's obviously got that superstar development, but now you've kind of brought in this, set of young corners.
Right.
So now the only thing the Eagles have to worry about is that cap situation. But the Fletcher Cox deal should help with that, so...
Right, exactly.
What about your receiving core at the moment?
My receiving core, it's a tough situation. It is a tough situation, to say the least. This entire year so far, it's just been people spamming man coverage against me, and I get to watch the corners run their routes for me. So
I think defensive-wise, it was great. Offensive-wise, it's gonna hurt you a little.
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree on that it is easier to develop an offense than a defense. I would say.
Oh,
so,
yeah, way easier.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So,
find a random speed.
I mean, I think it also depends on the defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then when you look at it from the Jags side, I think the Jags are a little weak when it comes to defensive tackle. So that helps them out. Now they got a big body in there, and Damon Harrison. Fletcher Cox is a monster, and then it helps them out at linebacker. A bit little, replacement for Miles Jack. Can't really replace him, but got a replacement with an 86 speed, 90 acceleration linebacker. And knowing their offense is pretty much set with young talents. So
Yeah, I mean,
and their corners were very good to begin with, so they kind of just used their advantage to a trade, and I think it worked out for both sides.
yeah, definitely.
No doubt.
So we'll go through just a a few more. We'll go to the Travis Kelce
I didn't even
for
see
Leonard and Pittman. Pittman tight end, remember?
I think, personally, I think that's a good trade, especially because Pittman's a hidden development
Right.
with 87 speed, and it's rare you're going to find a tight end that has a speed over like 86, 85.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a really good trade, actually.
And I think Kelce has a couple of years left, so it's kind of a win now move, especially.
Sure.
Yeah.
For the
Especially a 99 overall.
Yep.
I think he'll forever be usable. I think it's until he retires that when like you lose value.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can ever see.
Oh, he's not going to drop off.
Right.
Yeah.
And a 99 X factor. I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
And Darius Leonard here is only star development, which is
Right.
kind of Leonard we know is pretty good in real
It's kinda
life.
crazy.
So that's kind of a big move there. Deion Jones and Lindstrom for Aaron Jones. So the Packers beef up that defense.
Yeah.
I just feel like running backs is the easiest position in the game to
Yeah.
do.
So I really don't trade for running backs unless I'm trading little for running back.
Right.
I just traded for a fast guy that's 67 overall.
Yeah, and that'll do the job.
Exactly.
So we got Hooper for a second. Panthers need a 10. Browns don't need one.
The one trade I want to talk about is the Calvin Ridley for a second and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
That trade took like an hour to go through.
So I think that's a good trade.
I think it's the only reason I say it's really good is because you're getting a young wide receiver who's with a young quarterback in Justin Herbert.
Yes, because the Cardinals have Herbert now. So
that Cardinals isn't the Cardinals anymore.
no, it's not the Cardinals anymore at all.
No.
right.
Definitely not.
Yep. So we got that Carlton Davis III for a second round pick. Bucks, you went into that with the Cardinals, who is I'm sure out of trades at this point, but.
Oh yeah, he is. The only reason I did that trade is because I need as much as I've used Carlton Davis before, it's very hard to get a speed upgrade with him.
Right. And Davis is a good corner, but not fast.
Especially with him being 23 and as an 84, it's very hard to get his speed up because he has 88 speed and 90 excel, which is super hard. But I would much rather take the second round pick and then when the draft comes, potentially be able to use that second rounder and maybe the first to trade up higher to get a good corner that's fast.
Right.
All right, last one we'll probably go over. I'll just do mine. So
All right.
I did.
Yeah, let's talk about this trade.
You guys can talk about this. I won't say a word. I traded Marquise Goodwin, who's one of the fastest wide receivers in the league, for tight end Noah Fant.
Oh. Straight swap.
Yep.
Yeah, just
Straight swap.
straight
I mean,
Oh.
for you, I think it was a win because you get a 89 speed tight end.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely.
it's a big win.
For the Broncos, it does kind of suck though because that leaves one tight end on his team.
Yeah. He already traded Alberto. So
Yeah, and another thing is that's
A top core receiver wise and tight end wise with that trade as well.
yeah. So
Mooney, Robinson. I personally like.
I think it's really good.
yeah. So now if I look at my own team, I feel like I'll just do the talk about my team now. I feel like I'm pretty much set for what I want to do. I got, where is it? I got my quarterback in the future, Justin Fields. Running back, I'm still kind of I like Cohen, but he is 25, so his progression's a little bit slower. Wide receivers, I got Robinson, Mooney, and then a mix of Demir Bird, Paul Richardson, and Daz Newsome, who are all pretty fast. Tight end, I got Noah Fant, and I play Akeem Butler as my number 2. So I feel
okay.
I feel like that has kind of set my offense up. And then Goodwin, I've noticed I didn't like Goodwin all that much. He's fast, I'll give him that, but he's not skilled. So his release isn't as good. His route running is not as good. So basically, he's only a burner, and I don't play that type where I just
Right.
lob it up. So
Right.
I feel like he wasn't as need for me. And now, you know, the Broncos have a lot of speed at wide receivers, so maybe use
Right.
him differently. But I definitely felt like I won that.
Right.
And I think that's what we'll go over for today on the trading. So, does anybody want to start off talking? I talked about my team a little bit. I'll be good with that. Anybody want to, you know, expand on their own team?
I'll start with
My
mine.
team's perfect.
Oh, well, yeah. You have Bucks. All right, I'll talk about my team and the Eagles. So it's definitely a change from the Steelers. You know, I don't want to say it's a little bit of a bailout, but it definitely can be a bailout when I have T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, and Stephen Tuitt coming off of the D line. You know, not a lot of O lines are blocking that. I can't lie to you. Coming into this team, and really my thing is pass coverage, and then people are getting 3-4 seconds in the pocket. It's tough. It is tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said before, watching the cornerbacks run the routes for me, it's tough. It's just tough to go out there and try to run an offense, and the entire defense is just almost knows what I'm doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your basically main focus is just working up those wide receivers and trying to keep that offense moving. Jordan Love's pretty good in Madden, so.
Dude, that Jordan Love for Jalen Hurts trade was a must for me.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts was awful. 84 throw power.
It's pretty bad.
84 throw power was awful. He was batting on the ball like 30 yards, and it wasn't even accurate. It was just kind of more of like a jump ball if I threw it more than like 25.
Yeah, he's one of those quarterbacks who you need to get escape artists for him to actually be decent in this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, 90 throw power, decent accuracies. He is workable. He had a pretty good game against the Bengals. I can't lie.
Nice. Seahawks, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I really like the offensive side, especially with the schema run. I'm most likely to worry about the defense as much as to read the field and make the plays. If I make too many mistakes and not reading the open guys, it kind of ruins my game plan because all my scheme is to find the open guy.
Mm-hmm.
I also reworked the whole D line.
I did see that.
Like Alvin Smith, Carlos Dunlap, like Max Crosby. I traded for with Trevor the safety for Diggs.
Right.
I signed Melvin Ingram on the edge.
Yeah, Melvin Ingram seems like a big improvement because they had no pass rush in real life if you think about it.
Yeah.
And I also like the guy I guess I got from Christian, which is the DT. What do you
DT.
have?
Milton Williams?
Yes. He already has.
Yeah. I know you're talking
Yeah,
about,
that trade.
Nice.
Sadly, I had to let Wagner go.
Oh,
yeah.
yep.
But I think I still have rebounded with some free agency at the middle linebacker spot.
Yeah. You're lucky
And
to the
I'm
point.
still leading the league in Eins
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, I'm pretty sure.
You are much different from the Eagles because you had to rework kind of the defense, and your wide receivers are some of the best in the league with Metcalf, Lockett, and Eskridge as a rookie. Who is a 24-year-old rookie? In real life, he's a senior. He's in the Senior Bowl, and he's kind of broken out in the Senior Bowl, and he's looked really good. He could be one of those sleeper people in real life, but very good for starting it off as wide receivers. And tight end, I see you got Gerald Everett, which is a good tight end. He's very solid in Madden.
And I'm pretty sure I also traded for 2 right tackles, Rob and the year old Christian's old lineman.
Dwayne Brown,
Jordan
Mailata.
Yeah, Mailata.
Yeah, he's young, so you can work around him.
Yeah.
All right, Lamissa, how are your Bucks doing? I know there isn't much to complain about with that team.
There isn't really much to say. I mean, I've done one trade. I've had people try to talk trades, but
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
no one's really moving because I've got my team figured out between OJ Howard running my starting tight end and then having Gronk at fullback.
Mm-hmm.
Defense-wise, I give it, for my linebackers, I give myself at least another year, maybe 2, before I have to start rebuilding that core because Levante David's getting old, Shaq Barrett's getting old, and obviously JPP's getting old. But it's my middle linebacker is set with Devin White, no doubt,
Right.
because he can literally keep up with any single wide receiver on a slant route or if it's deep, because he has 92 speed.
Yeah, he is
you
definitely
have like
a
the
cheat
best
code.
user in the game,
Yeah.
middle linebackers wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your
So
one issue is with that team is going to be figuring out the cap situation.
cap situation and eventually age, but like I don't know how many years.
And quarterback, obviously, when Brady's got a year or two remaining.
Offense, I'm literally chilling for now for at least another couple years before Brady actually starts to
regress.
Number 8, Tom Brady.
Or if he just straight up retires. I don't really play with the Bucks a lot, so I can't tell you like when he retires.
So when I first started playing franchise, I had the Bucks and I traded Brady, and he stayed in the league for 2 seasons, I think, before he retired.
I think he does regress hard, but he's good at least for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah. And as long as I can keep his stats up there, like at least like decent enough to where it won't be a regression as much as like what it could be, I think he'll be pretty decent for next season too.
All right, so now we'll kind of move on to what we think our early Super Bowl favorites are, if anybody has any. I know it's very early right now. We got a lot of undefeated teams still on the board.
Let me pull up Daddy Leagues real quick.
I haven't really watched many of the games.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I think they'll be close.
Very interesting.
We got the Browns as a leading team in points for. Again, this is a little skewed because we're in between weeks. Browns have the most points for, so they're putting up a lot of points, which obviously that should happen. And they even traded for Chase Young, Nick Chubb.
They did a lot for that team to make their defense a lot better than what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And I and the Bears have allowed the least amount of points in 17 all year. Right. So that's kind of where we're at for points against, points for. I think the Browns are obviously a very good team. I think the NFC is stacked.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
The NFC is no that stacked. Like if I'm gonna be completely honest, I should not be 3-0, but I am.
Right now, I'm just battling with the Rams. I don't even know when I play them.
Yeah, I've been kind of surprised with the Rams.
I play the Rams later in the season.
For how much of a struggle it's been, somehow I'm still top because right now my division's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-3.
Yeah, so if you look at the NFC, it's like Bears are on top.
Very odd.
I'm at least a game up on my division, the NFC North. NFC South, the Bucks are 2 games up already. NFC East is kind of a shit show like it is in real life right now. Whereas you got like, I mean, these are all competitive players, but they play each other so much that it becomes a bad record because it's a very competitive division. And then you got the NFC West with the Rams and the Seahawks 3-0. So I think NFC is very stacked. The AFC could come out and surprise us with teams like the Browns, the Ravens, and the Chargers, and maybe even the Jets and the Colts, I believe. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Not to interrupt, but watching this Patriots-Vegas game, we're going down to one less undefeated team.
Really?
Oh,
New England's up 20-9 right now.
I'm pulling it up on our podcast. We got a little. We'll talk about this end of the game right now, but yeah. Oh, and New England gets the first down. That could be the game right there. James White, 80 yards and a touchdown. As New England looks like going to... I think that's a possible upset.
I think so. As much as both teams have made moves, I think New England might have done the best, especially getting a QB that's actually somewhat decent.
So I've seen him use Carr and Cam Newton in this game.
Yes. When he played me, he used both.
Really?
I think the biggest issue for the Raiders this far, and I know him well as a commissioner, we played in other leagues. I think the trading of Henry Ruggs before he even got his abilities.
Oh yeah.
Is what's going to kill him.
That was a bad decision.
How do you trade Ruggs?
Oh, and there goes James White into the end zone for the end of the game, and that will do it.
That is literally the pinnacle of Vegas. Is I would like to call it the downfall, but Ruggs is literally the top 3 fastest wide receiver in the league.
So let's go over this trade. The Raiders send Henry Ruggs, Trayvon Mullen, Tanner Muse, and a first for Jair and Elton Jenkins. Now I understand Jair is a 23-year-old, 93 speed X-Factor safety who's a beast, but he can only guard one person.
Yeah, he can't guard everybody.
Ruggs can torch an entire defense, dude.
Right. So I probably think the Packers win that.
You see things like Marquise Brown,
no doubt,
stuff like that, where you can just send him on little fly routes and he's gone. Same thing with Ruggs, dude. Ruggs posts, stuff like that. He will burn the entire defense if you're not ready for it.
Right. Well, does anybody have any last words about how this is going?
I hate the Eagles.
All right, let's. You know what? Listen, we're gonna get a little change of subject here. We're gonna go to the top leaders around the league.
Top leaders in around the league is what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
This will be our final subject of what we're going to talk about because we're in, week 3, almost week 4. So, leading in stat categories. Let me just go to the NFL, all entire NFL real quick. We have in the passing, Baker Mayfield leads the league in yards, which makes sense because they have the most points. And leading the league in touchdowns is Lamar Jackson with 13, Baker at 10. Most interceptions, Josh Dobbs, who I might have added a few this week for him. And the least amount of interceptions for a quarterback that's actually played big time, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, and then there's a few guys with 1. So I think overall you're seeing the Browns be a big offensive juggernaut. Not sure how they are on defense, but I mean Myles Garrett and Chase Young, that tells you everything you need to know. So
yeah, their defense literally can just.
That's scary, bro. Like you can't. Like, you can only double team one. You can only double team one guy.
Right, yeah.
You can only double team one guy.
I don't know what my game plan is going to be for that.
Your linebacker.
I mean, I feel like I kind of luck out because I don't have to play either of the Browns or Ravens, so I feel pretty good about that.
In the rushing department, we have
let's talk about the rushing department.
We have the team that runs the most in the Rams, who are 3-0. So we know that they're a big run team. But Josh Jacobs hasn't been the most successful, only averaging 4.6 yards and 2 touchdowns, whereas opposed to Ronald Jones has the league lead in yards by 80 and 6 touchdowns, averaging 9.2 a carry. So, Bucks, you want to talk about why that run game is so good?
See, listen. The only reason I'm going to say my run game is so good is because I have the best blocking fullback in the game.
Yeah.
In Gronkowski.
So Gronk was allowed to use the tight end because if you ever watch real NFL, sometimes he lines up a fullback. He lines up as basically an extra offensive line sometimes, a lot for the Patriots. I'm a Patriots fan. I've watched him line up there.
Right.
I think it's just like when you have the offense that I have, like with Ronald at running back, it's just you really cannot just sit there and pass because Ronald is literally the most underrated running back in the game.
He's very good, I think.
No joke. He is so good for an 83 overall, who I have to an 84 now. Even though he has 91 speed.
91 speed even bad. 91 speed's pretty decent, dude.
But
like he's not a burner, but like he gets the job done.
He'll get the job done,
especially with his skill set.
I mean, I can't say it's just all the run game. I mean, my O-line is actually like pretty decent with Tristan Wirfs, and literally it's just nuts. Like they block so well to where Ronald can literally just break out.
Now, if we move to wide receiver, we have Keenan Allen leading the league in receptions with 27, Jamar Chase, Saquon behind him as a running back, and then Darnell Mooney. Receiving yards leader is Keenan Allen as well, with Jamar Chase behind him, and our touchdown leader in the NFL is Marquise Goodwin with 5. So I think if you look around the league, but there's no wide receiver that's like you have to stop because they're just gonna.
I think the only reason, like, I'm not gonna say Keenan Allen's fast, but I'm not gonna say he's slow.
Well, he is a little slow. He's 89 speed.
He's got route running that just can't be. That just like he can't cover.
He's got 93 short, 94 medium, 90 deep, and he has slot-o-matic.
Exactly.
I mean, I think the only wide receiver that's like questionable, like to be able to stop, that's literally young, is Jamar Chase.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase has that speed.
He's fast, and he's a rookie, so he's literally just gonna progress his speed higher if you do the upgrades. Right?
Wait, Jamar Chase, he's pretty. I thought Jamar Chase was slow.
He has 93 speed somehow, so he's
93 speed.
He's got 93 speed now. I thought he had like 88.
93, 92 Excel.
It's pretty crazy.
Never mind.
So I'll just go. We don't really need to talk about too much of the defensive stuff, but we have Jelani Tavai as a solo tackle leader. Total tackle leader is Justin Simmons. Deion Jones tie with him. Tackles for loss, Grady Jarrett with that inside stuff showing. QB sacks goes to right now Daniel Hunter, 5.5. Khalil Mack, 5. And then interceptions, Murphy Bunning, Jamal Adams, and Tavares Moore and Rock Ya-Sin have 4. So defense going all around. But I think we're in for an interesting end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to the middle of the season, I think is when people it'll start getting real interesting because a lot of people are
Yeah.
going to start fighting for playoff spots, and they're going to end up playing people who they need to beat in order to win their division.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
we'll probably be back with another podcast episode in a week or two. We'll see what we're up to. But other than that, thank you guys for hopping on, and we will see everybody in the league. Hopefully watches the rest of this, and we'll see you next time. So thank you.